Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to talk about Year 9 Achievement Test, June 2023. Section A, Question 9. The table shows the number of animals a vet treats in 1 week. Here we have the animals and here we have the number of animals. Saeed draws a pie chart to represent this data. What size angle should he draw for the sector representing dogs? First thing we do, we have to add all the animals together. We add all of these together to find the total number of animals. So 10 plus 15 is 25. 25 plus 20, which is 45. So the total number is 45. Now we know the total number. We can find the angle representing dogs. How do we do this? First, the dogs are 10. So we make a fraction, 10 over the 45, which is the total number of animals. As we said, first we make a fraction of the part number over the total number. And because we're looking for angles, we should know that the pie chart is a circle. And the circle full angle is 360. This means that we multiply this by 360 to find the angle representing the dogs. Now we do this with a calculator. 10 over 45, like this. 10 by 10, divide 45, and then multiply it by 360, and the angle is 80. Very good. So 10 divide 45 times 360 equals 80. So the final answer is 80. And this is how you answer a question like this. So focus on this. First thing we did, we added, we got the total number, and then we divided the part number by the total number, which is 10 over 45. We multiplied by 360 and we got 80. Now let's move on to the next question. Question 10. A wooden pole is 2 meters long. 120 centimeters of the pole is painted blue. What percentage of the pole is not painted blue? First, we find the percentage of the pole which is not painted blue. First, let's put the pole over here so we understand the idea. We said the pole is 2 meters long. Now, first, we turn the 2 meters into centimeters so we can deal with the same units. To turn 2 meters into centimeters, we have to understand that 1 centimeter equals 100, how many? Yes, I'm sorry, 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. That's the first thing we need to know. Now, this means that 2 meters equal how many? Very good. We multiplied by 100. So 2 meters multiplied by 100. This will give me 200 centimeters. Very good. Now, we know that the whole pole is 200 centimeters and 120 is painted. So to find the part which is not painted, we say 200 minus 120. This gives me 80 centimeters, which is not painted. Now, to make this as a percentage, this means that the ones painted blue, let's cover it like this, is 120 of the pole, painted blue, like this. And the rest is not painted blue. This means to make a percentage out of this, we take the part number and divide it by the whole number, which is 200. So we say 80 divided by 200. So we made a fraction of the painted part, not non-painted part, on the total length of the pole. And then to turn it into percentage, what do we do? Very good. We multiply it by 100. We multiply it by 100. Now, what do? We divide 80, which is the part, by 200, which is the total part. And then we multiply it by 100, and we will get the percentage, which is 40%. So the part or the percentage which is not painted, the percentage of the pole which is not painted blue is 40%. 40% of the pole. And this is how you answer a question like this. So we turn the meters into centimeters. This is the ratio or the rate of turning meters into centimeters. We turn the 2 meters into centimeters by multiplying by 100. We subtracted to know how much is not painted blue. We made the part number over the total number and multiplied by 100 to turn it into percentage. And we got 40%. Now, let's move on to the next question. Question 11. Find the equation that has a graph which is parallel to the graph of y equals 4x plus 2. Now, first you have to understand that the equation is like this. Y equals mx plus c. Now, we all know what's the meaning of m. M is the gradient of the equation. As long as the y has a coefficient of 1, this means that there's no number next to it, and the number next to it is 1. The m is the gradient of the equation. The m is the gradient of the equation. Now, parallel lines, they have what in common? Very good. They have the same gradients. They have the same gradients. It means the numbers next to the x must be the same in both equations of parallel lines. And even the sign next to it, if it's positive, it means the other one should be positive. If it's negative, the other one should be negative. So this means parallel lines have the same gradients. Now, when I look at the equations, I want to first make sure that the y has no numbers next to it, or the coefficient of y is 1, and then look at the number next to the x, which is the m. If it's 4 or positive 4 like this, it means the equation is parallel to the line here. This one is not 4, the y is alone, that's good, but the number next to the x is not 4. This means that this line is not parallel to the equation that I have here. Same idea here. The y is alone, or the y has a coefficient of 1, but the number next to the x is not a positive 4. This means this line is not parallel. Here, when I look, I see that the y is alone, like this one, and the number next to the x here, this is 4, but this one is negative 4. This means it's not parallel to it. Now, let's take a look at this one. First, we can see that the y is not alone. There's a number next to the y. It means I have to get rid of these numbers. So the number here is 2. It means I have to divide this by 2. Divide it by 2. This is how you make the y have a coefficient of 1, by dividing by the same number next to the y. So I divided this by 2. It means I have to divide all parts by 2. So this one will be divided by 2. This one will be divided by 2. This makes the coefficient of y a 1. Now, this turns the equation into the form of y equals mx plus c. Now, after dividing, 2 divide 2, this equation will become y equals 8x divide 2 is going to be 4x. And then negative 4 divide 2 is going to be negative 2. Now here, this is the equation after dividing. The y is alone. The x has a coefficient of positive 4, which is the same as this one. This means that both lines are what? They are parallel. This means the answer is this equation. And this is how you answer a question like this. So focus on the equations. The y must have a coefficient of 1. And then look at the gradient, which is the number or the coefficient next to the x. Focus on having the same number and the same sign. Now, let's move on to the next question. Question 12. Here. The radius of a circle is 4 centimeters. What's the circumference of the circle to one decimal place? Now, we need to understand that the formula of the circumference or perimeter of a circle equals what? Very good. 2 pi r, like this. 2 pi r. Now, focus on formulas and how to find the answers for circumference of circles by multiplying 2 by pi by r, okay? So first, we know that the circumference 2 pi r. So 2 times 3.14 times r, which is what? Very good. The radius is 4. So multiply it by 4, and we will get the final answer for this question. And then we round it to one decimal place. So first, 2 times pi, which is 3.14, times r, which is 4. And I have 25.12. Now, this one has 2 decimal places. When you round it to one decimal place, it means the answer should be like this. And because the 2 is small, it means we can remove the 2, and the answer is 25.1. So the right answer, 25.1 centimeters. Now, let's move on to the next question. Question 13. Make f the subject of the formula. Make f the subject of the formula. Here, this is the formula. Let me write it down here so I can show you the steps. So E equals 7 multiplied by a bracket of F minus 3, close bracket. Now, you can see that the 7 is multiplied here. So I can take it by expanding inside, or I can take it to the other side by dividing. But when you look at the answers, you will see that all the whole side is divided by 7. This means they didn't divide by 7. This means they followed an expanding way of answering this question. So here, it means they expanded the 7 inside like this. And when you expand, you have to multiply the 7 inside the bracket. So the second step, E will equal 7 times F is going to be 7F. And then 7 times negative 3 is going to be negative 21, like this. Now, this is the second step. The next step will be what? Taking the negative 21 to the other side. So negative 21, when you take it to the other side, is going to be what? Very good. Positive 21. So we will end up with E plus 21 equals 7F. 7F. And the 7 is multiplied by the F. 7 is multiplied by the F. It means I can take the 7 now to the other side by dividing. And when you divide the whole side like this. So here, when we take the 7 by dividing, it's going to be E plus 21 over 7, like this, over 7. And this will equal to F, equal to F. Focus on the steps of changing the subject because it's very important. So this will equal to F, and this is how you make F a subject. So the final answer is this one, E plus 21 over 7. So which one is it? Very good. It's this one. E plus 21 over 7 is the right answer for this changing the subject question. Now, let's move on to the next question. Question 14. Question 14 here, if A equals negative 3, B equals 0.5, C equals 32, find the value of this. Here we're going to substitute each one of them inside their value variables. First, let's cover this so we can work down. Let's substitute each one and then use the calculator to find the values. First, A, we have what? Very good. A is negative 3. Now, each time you remove a variable, make sure to do what? To put brackets instead of it. Good. Put brackets instead of it. So first, let's put the bracket. And then to remove A, we put brackets. And inside the bracket, we put the value of A, which is negative 3. So negative 3. And then minus 2. And then close the bracket. And then we have power of 3, like this. Power of 3. Okay. And then after that, we have minus and then square root of 4bc. Now, first, let's write what's 4 multiplied by b, which is a bracket, like this, and multiplied by c, which is a bracket. As I told you, when you remove a letter, you put brackets, and then you put the values inside the brackets. b is 0.5, so this one will be 0.5. And C is 32. So inside the bracket of C, we will have 32. And then we put the square root on top of them like this. Like this. A square root is covering the whole thing. Square root covering 4, B, and C like this. Now I'm going to take the whole thing, put it inside the calculator, push equals to find the final answer. And this will help me as long as I put all the numbers in the correct order. So bracket, bracket, negative 3, close bracket, negative 2, close bracket, power of 3, follow the same steps. You have to go down from the power by pushing the front arrow. Focus on this, which is the right arrow, okay? And then minus, because if you don't go down from the bracket in some calculators from the power, you'll write the rest of the question on top with the power. So focus on this, okay? And then square root, we have 4, bracket, 0.5, close bracket, open bracket, 3, 2, close bracket, and you'll have your answer, which is negative 133. Negative 133, which is the first answer in question 14. So the answer or the right answer is negative 133. So focus on this because steps are very important. Focus on this step because some students will write here the power and then they will continue writing in the same place of the power, negative square root of this number. But you have to go down by pushing the arrow or the right arrow like this, okay, on the calculator. Now let's move on to the next question. Question 15. In question 15, y is directly proportional to x. Given x equals 30, when y equals 20, find the value of y when x equals 75. So I will cover this down so we can work here. Here we have a proportional or direct proportional question. It means we can use the x method with it. Here, we said y is directly proportional to x, so we can write y here and x here. And then the value of x they gave me is 30. So under x, I'm going to write 30 like this. And the value of y is 20. So under y, I'm going to write 20 like this. As we said, we write y and x. You can put them x and y, same idea, doesn't matter. As long as the y is on top of each other and the x is on top of each other. So x is 30, so I wrote 30 under it here. And y is what? Y is 20. Find the value of y, find this, the one down, when x equals 75. This means find y here when x equals 75 here. Now here, you can use the x method or the cross-multiplying method to answer this question. You can multiply these and then divide by 30 to find the missing y, like this. So basically, we're going to multiply 20 by 75, 20 times 75, and then divide it by 30. Divide it by 30 to find the missing number here. We can do this in the calculator like this. Here. So 20 times 75 and then divided by 30. And the answer is 50. The answer is 50, which is the first one on the answer. So 50 is the right answer. As I said, focus on the steps of this question. We said y is directly proportional to x. It means they increase together. You can use the x method with direct proportion, but with indirect proportion, you can't use the x method. You have to use the other method, which is the opposite method. Okay. Now, as we said, y is directly proportional with x. This is y, this is x. When x is 30, y is 20. Find the value of y, which is this one. When x equals 75, we use the x method by multiplying these ones and dividing by 30, and I got 50 for the answer of this question. And this is how you answer a question like this. And this is the end of section 8. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.